Hi dear students, how are you? I hope you're fine. Today we're gonna discuss chapter 4. We're gonna talk about the supply and demand. So let's start. We have some objectives of this chapter. We want to state the law of demand and know the shifts in demand from movements along the demand curve. We want to state the law of supply and distinguish shifts in supply from movements along the supply curve. Also, we're gonna explain how the law of demand and the law of supply interact to bring here about equilibrium. So let's start here with the demand. When I talk about the demand, I'm talking about the desire, the ability to pay for a certain quantity of a certain price. So I want to buy something, so I have here the desire, and in here exchange. This is a voluntary. Yes, this is a voluntary action that I want to buy something, and I can buy this something I'm sacrificing the money that I will pay instead here of what comparing with the benefit that I will get, and at a given period of time, and this is at a given period of time, of course. So the law of demand states what the quantity of a good demanded, the quantity of the good demanded here inversely is inversely related to the goods price, what I should pay for this demand. So in other words, we can say what quantity demanded rises as price falls. So what do you mean here? I have here a relationship between the demand and the price. So the price of the product, if the price of the product here, what happened, it here falls. They said that they are having sale. What happens in the shops when we have sales? What do we have here? A lot of people crowd. So we have the Black Friday, and it's coming. And we will see the Black Friday. What happens in the Black Friday? Very crowd people will go and buy things. So why? Because we have here price falls. When price falls, when we have discounts, when we have offers, so this makes the quantity demanded by people increase. What about if the price rises? So the quantity demanded, what happens to it? It falls. So we have here inversely related. So the law of demand is inversely related to the prices. Economists here record demand on a demand schedule and plot it on a graph as the demand curve. So the demand curve, here are the data given. A demand schedule. What about this schedule? It's a schedule table that lists the quantity of a good a person will buy at different prices. So what should I do in different, how should I do as a person, how do I react with the different prices offered by the supplier? So demand schedule can be represented by using the graph. We represent the price of the good on the vertical axis. So we have here the price of the goods, and I have here the quantity here of the demanded of goods. So the demand of schedule can be represented by using the graph. We represent price here on the vertical axis and the quantity here on the horizontal axis. This is shown in the following graph. Let's see here the representation. The demand curve. We have here this demand curve is the graphic representation of the relationship between what, between, as we said, the price and the quantity demanded. So let's see together what happened. As the price and the price and the quantity here are having what, inversely relationship. Okay, opposite relationship. This means when the demand I'm having here, when the price increases, the quantity demanded, what happens to it, decreases, and vice versa. The demand curve is downward sloping. What happens here when we have here from this price from 4, from this quantity from 4 to 3, if I have here the quantity here, what happened, it here decreases. What happened here, the price increased. So we can say in better words, we can say as the price increases, this is the relation, as the price increases, what happens to the quantity demanded, the quantity demanded, what happens to it? It decreased, okay, and vice versa. Okay, guys, and let's have here the movements along a demand curve versus shifts in demand. So we have here quantity demanded, as we said, movements along the demand curve. This is very important to understand, guys. Why? Because here this is my curve. Okay, so what happens here from point to point? What happens here, the movement from point to point on the graph, this is called, I'm having here change in the quantity of the demand, but quantity demanded, I'm not here talking about the shifts of the demands, the demand curves. I'm talking about just the quantity of what, of the demanded, or quantity demanded. Here, when I say quantity demanded here, refers to a specific amount that will be demanded per unit of time. So this is per unit of time at a specific price. Other things are constant. So I'm talking about specific time, I'm talking about a specific price. It refers to specific point on the demand curve. So this is here a specific point on the demand curve. Change in price causes the change in the quantity demanded, as we said. A change in the price causes the movement along the curve, the demand curve. So the change in the prices, this makes or causes or influences the movement along the demand curve. So let's have this curve and understand more by looking at this curve. A change in the price here, what happened in this price? Okay, we have here our graph, I have here our price, I have here my price, I have here the quantity demanded, and I have just one curve, and this means that the quantity of the quantity of the demanded is changing, not the curve. So not the demand curve. I'm talking about here the quantity here. For example, the quantity of the butter, or the quantity of any product that you want, guns or any product that you want. Okay, so I have here the change in price causes what? Causes a movement along the demand curve, as we said. What happened to the price here in this graph? The price is here from 1 to 2. So when the price increased from 1 to 2, and because I'm having here point A, it's 1. Okay, when I say point A, it's 200. Okay, x-axis 200 for the quantity, and for the price it's here 200, and for the price it's 1. Okay, so what happens to point B? I'm having here point B, it's what? It's 100 for the quantity. It decreased the quantity when the price did what? When the price raised to be 2. So when the price is raised to be $2, for example, the quantity demanded will be what? Will be decreased from 200 to 100. Okay, so this is what's written here. As the price increases from 1 to 2, LE, the quantity demanded decreases from 200 to 100 units. So people will say, I'm not going to buy this high stuff. So there is a movement along the demand curve from point A to point B because of an increase in the price. Very easy? Yes. Let's have the shifts in demand. What does it mean? I'm here talking about here something different other than the quantity demanded. Quantity demanded, I'm talking about the prices. So it happens here, the quantity demanded on the same curve. What about here the shifts in demands? I'm talking about here the shift of the curve. The shift, remember well, and listen to me well here. I'm talking about the shifts in that demand curve. So the demand curve is shifted due to some factors except the price of the goods. Okay, very good point is mentioned here. So the demand curve shifted due to some factors. I'm having some factors and we will talk about it, but except what? The price of the good. Why? The price of good, I'm talking here about the change in the quantity of the demand. So price of goods, I'm talking about the quantity demanded, okay, of goods, of certain goods that I'm talking about, or producing. But if I'm talking about the shifts in demand, what are the factors, or the important shift factors of the demand? Here we it include what? Society income, the society income, prices of substitute goods, the other substitute goods. For example, hamburgers, I'm talking about the substitute goods, the fast food chicken, for example. If I'm talking about the fast food, I'm talking about pizza. So the substitutes is what? Let's have hamburgers. If the price of the chicken is increased, let's have pizza, for example. Prices of complementary goods, the other complementary goods. So the complementary goods. So I'm having here the complete, like the cereal and milk. What if I want to buy cereal, but I know that the milk here price is very high nowadays. So this is complementary goods, because we put the milk on the cereal. What about the tastes and taxes and subsidies? Taxes, what we have to pay for the government, and the subsidies, the opposite of the taxes. Subsidies here, when the government try to help us to make it, to facilitate for the suppliers to help them produce a certain product. So causes of shifting the demand curve to the right. Okay, you say that you are going to shift the demand curve to the right. This means what? This means that we are increasing in demand. So remember, well, when I shift the curve to the right, I want to show you this means that I'm increasing in growth. So what about if I'm shifting the demand curve to the left? So this means that we are decreasing in demand. Let's have here some causes of shifting the demand curve to the right. Increasing income. So I'm having here what? Increase in income, increase in tastes. Here, increase in the population. We are getting more and more people. Prices of complementary goods gets down. So when the complementary goods prices are getting down, like the milk, as we said, but this time the price of the milk is down and down. So we will have more and more cereals. Okay, prices of the substitute goods are getting up and up. So this means what? This means that the chicken is very high, and I want here the demand for the hamburger, for example, will increase and increase, because why should I have the chicken now and I can have the in a very high price, while here the hamburger with a reasonable price that I can afford? What else? Shifting demand curve. All these factors, guys, are shifting the demand curve to the right. Okay, causes of shifting the demand curve to the left. What happens here? What are the factors here? If I have here lower income, I have lower tastes. Here it means that your product is good or not. Here lower tastes, very bad. When I have lower tastes, it means that your product is not having a good reputation. It's not efficient. It's not a good one. Population, when your population like in German, low population rate, I have prices of substitute goods is lower. So the chicken nowadays is very low. So let's have chicken now, right? So I will decrease the demand of the hamburger. For example, prices of complementary goods are very high. What should I do? How can I get now more and more cereals while the milk price is very high? It's a complementary good. Shifting demand, all of these factors are shifting the demand curve to the left. Okay, guys. So the shifting of the demand curve is illustrated in the following figure. Yes, we like graphs. So remark here the quantity demanded of goods X, for example, any kind of good, let's be the strawberry, for example, changes while the price is constant. Okay, what you're saying here, when I'm talking, and this is very important point, and this is tricky, when I'm talking about the prices, if I'm having change in the price. I'm talking here about the quantity demanded or supplied, and we're going to talk about the supply also. But if I'm talking about that the price is constant and other factors here are changing, so I'm changing what? I'm changing here the curve, the demand curve or the supply curve. So this is what we are talking about. Okay guys, so the price here, this is here this graph. I'm having a graph here. I'm having here the price, and I'm having here what? The quantity demanded. So I have here the quantity demanded. The basic one was here a Q1. As the price is constant here, this is the price is constant, it means it's the same. So this is quantity one, right? And whatever here happens, whatever factor that happened that made here the demand increased. So what should happen here at the same price? This is means that the demand curve increased. This means that the demand curve increased. Okay, guys, the demand curve increased. This means the price is the same constant. And what if I have here with the other one, what if the demand curve decreased? Okay, it shifted here it shifted here to the left. So the price is the same, and the factor that affected it, it's from the factors that we mentioned. Let's have here from the demand schedule to a demand curve. Okay, so we're having here what? The price. Okay, I'm having here the price per movie. Let's see this one. So what do you think, guys? I'm talking here about what? I'm talking here about something, huh? I'm returning back. When I say the price is different, so the quantity of the, yes, remember the quantity demanded are changed here at this one. So I'm here shifting the demand curve or the quantity demanded. No, the quantity demanded. So this is our graph. So at $1 per movie, the price per movie, the ticket of the movie ticket here, when it's $1, so the movie rental demanded per week is 9. Okay, it's very good one. So at 1, and we have here 9. So this is the quantity and this is the price. The price at 1, so we have 9. What about and we have here 9. This is point A. What about point B? We have $2. When point B, it's $2 the price, and the quantity here, what happened? Decreased, and so on. I hope you understood this. We will meet at section 2 of this chapter. Thank you for listening. Bye bye, dear students.